Hey, you guys, this is Shamika with Dear Shamika. I am joined today by J. Michael Crawford. And 2 times a month, we will be coming to challenge your perspectives. Did you want to introduce yourself to everyone, Mr. Crawford?
I can. I'm J. Michael Crawford. There's no real, don't need any kind of fancy introduction, but you just did it. So we'll go with that. I'm J.
All
Michael
righty.
Crawford, and you all will get to know me as we go on.
Okay. So we were actually having a conversation the other day, and it's something that a lot of us are faced with because some people are business owners, some people are trying to get off the ground, and they get so angry at people for not showing them the support that they feel that like they're entitled to or deserve. Mr. Michael, do you feel like do you feel like we deserve support from friends, our friends and family?
I don't believe automatically we do. Just think about this. What if, we can look at it several ways. What if the thing that you're asking them to support, they don't necessarily agree with? Should they support it anyway? Just because of your relationship to them? Do the values matter? That's the question, that we have to discuss. I don't think people think about that very often. Should somebody support something they actually don't believe in just because of the person that is doing it? What do you think about that? That's a question I think for you and I, or anyone else who can text in or who's listening can join us on. And I think we deal with that issue first. What if it's something you don't want to be involved with? Or if it's a product that you don't use? Should we say we do anyway?
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, see, because most people are only thinking about themselves. You have to think, this is the way I look at it. Okay. If I want you to respect me, then wouldn't it be fair that I respect you? So often I think people come to people forgetting the fact that maybe we don't think exactly alike. And I might need to respect your point of view. I think we've been told so much that, because some of what we may even talk about tonight is but you're my friend. Okay. But friends should go both ways. When the idea of being your friend stops going both ways, are we both still friends, or am I just your friend? Shouldn't we always consider each other? That's my question.
That's absolutely true. So are you, because I used to be one of those people that felt like people owed me support because you're my friend, you're my family, that's what you're supposed to do. And that just made so much sense to me. But I realized it took my focus. So I didn't realize that sometimes we get so focused on a lack of support that it can kind of deter us from progressing in what we said we're going to do.
Right.
So how does a person go forward without feeling like their friends and family are supporting them?
Well, first of all, I think people have to establish what is it that anybody actually owes us. The question is, does anybody owe you anything? Really, does anyone actually owe me something? That would be one consideration for me. And in the attempt, because I started and built an organization that is a ministry. And when I started, I really thought I was going to have a whole bunch of support. But I didn't look at it as thinking I would have people come support me. I thought from what I had kind of been told, they indicated that they really were interested in what I was doing. And then once I got started, that wasn't what came through. People didn't show up. And I guess it was to a degree disappointing, but I know this. I always told, like, my mom and dad, my brothers and sisters, and even my children, once they were old enough to choose, and this may be strange to most people, that I do not want you to come unless you actually want to. I want to be able to prove that what I'm doing is worthwhile. And you supporting me because you're my friend or family does not prove that it's worthwhile. You know what I'm saying? If I'm just tuning in because you're my friend, what are you doing then? Does that validate what I'm doing in any way? I often tell people, just like, and this is my view again, people are welcome to agree or disagree. And I really do believe that people have a right to their opinion. But I used to always say, even when I would go to speak as a minister, people say, are you going to come support me in speaking, and preaching my first sermon? Well, I never did that because I looked at it this way. I don't remember doing it. I looked at it this way. If God called me to preach, then obviously he's going to go with me, right? Okay, so if he's going to go with me, what more support would I need? And then a lot of times the people who come just for support, are they really listening to you? And that's what I'm saying again. I want to win your support. I want what I'm doing to actually be important to the people who join me in it. I don't want them to owe it to me. That's not genuine to me. And well, I mean, what do you think?
I think when you take away because I used to do it too. Like I said, I was so focused on people need to support me, but I think everyone had what I've learned is everyone has an audience. And like you said, what you're saying or what you do may not be for everyone. And you want a person to actually enjoy the experience of whatever you're trying to do versus feeling forced or feeling like, oh, I'm obligated to do so because you're my friend or family member, because you can tell the difference between when something you're doing has made an impact on someone versus it's not making an impact. And I think also, like you said, I want to earn people's support as well. And I want to go to my next level on things I'm doing. I don't want to just be mediocre and then people, oh, that's good, and I'm not really doing good because that's keeping me where I am. That's not pushing me to grow. Like, you as well as others have, man, behind the scenes really, man, been real hard on me, but it's challenging me, and still, I have pitfalls and things that I'm still working through, and you won't let up. So if you know that you need to work on it, it's like, hey, Shamika, you need to work on this, versus like you just letting it go over your head and like, oh, that's so good, and I feel like sometimes we do a disservice to people when we do, I think, support without correction or challenge them to grow. And I think a lot of people are not looking, I can only speak for, some people, but some people are not looking to grow. They're looking for validation. So It's like, do you want support or do you want somebody to validate you where you are so you won't feel so bad? Because that's what I know with me. I was just looking for validation because I actually came out with what I was my brand like 6 or 7 years ago. And I would fall off, I would start back up, I would fall off. And then I said, you know what? Like I had like 2 or 3 people who supported me. And I said, instead of me focusing so much on those who don't support me, let me focus on the people that do. You know what I mean? And not focus because they'll take away from your mission because you're so focused on, man, ain't nobody support me. Now you're slowing down and your momentum is gone.
Okay. A question. Is it really validation if they only do it because they feel they owe it to you? Does it make what you're doing really valid? We talk about like feeling. Yeah, I want to feel validated, but feeling validated to me and being validated is 2 different things. See, someone can, like I want to make you feel good, so I say the right things, but I really don't mean them. But you would rather hear me say it than actually mean it. I would rather people believe in me slowly. I don't get to, like when people get really, really excited about, woo, man, what you're saying is, this. When they start,
hey, you have to correct me on that one.
Yeah, it's so great. It's so no, slow down.
And they really hearing what you're saying.
Yeah, pump your brakes. It may not be, because the truth is, 5 minutes into the conversation, I may say something that now they're saying, "Oh, okay, he started off good. Now he's a butthole." So just don't start off so excited. Let's slow down.
Yeah, he's talking to, I used to do it. Now I try to slow down because you get so excited and something you called me out about, and I realized it. You get so excited and hyped up. Sometimes we don't listen to the whole message. And sometimes we cut people out by affirming. It's like, you didn't even hear everything. This person, yes, sometimes, it's fun, but sometimes you just really have to be quiet so that you can actually hear the entire message. And I think also we get caught up in it. Excitement is a distraction too.
Yeah.
You can be motivated and then say, I'm gonna do this, I'm excited about this, and now you're all over the place and you haven't gotten started.
Yeah. And when you get used to having excitement, what you don't realize is most of what you have to do to really keep some things going do not happen in excitement. They happen when the lights go down, the base work.
Yeah.
The stuff that really needs to be done, that you have to get done, it's not exciting work.
No.
And so if you get used to the excitement, then you won't do the things that need to be done when the excitement is not there. Yeah, I think I used to think about how, you go to an amusement park, you can go to Disney World, Disneyland, or somewhere like that. And for all of the visitors, it's fun. Somebody's at work though. Somebody there is at work. And you think about all the people that person who's keeping everything clean, that person's walking around with a broom and a little dustpan, and they're constantly cleaning up. I mean, it's not Disneyland to them right now. In other words, it means a different thing. But what if they weren't doing what they did? Then it wouldn't be what it is to the other people. Or that person running around that the children see as this is Goofy or Mickey or whoever else. But they're in a hot costume. You ever think about that? They are really working. There's another perspective. And in order, I think that we do people a disservice if we teach them that people are supposed to support us, number one, because it kills the motivation. You're looking for someone to, support you, instead of believing in what you are doing. Mm-hmm. I think you have to believe in what you're doing enough to where when you don't see the support, that doesn't change your belief in it. That's why I tell people, do what you know you believe in. Don't do things that you think will excite people. Do something you know that you would do. I always ask people, what is it that you believe you would do every day, even if you were not paid to do it? That's something you are sold out to. Find what it is you like. I think everybody tries to find something that will pay first, or will make them famous, or get them attention. But what is it that you believe in? What are you passionate about? And if you're passionate about it, do you believe other people should be passionate about that thing, not just supporting you? And then why should they be passionate about it? Because think about it. If the people closest to you asked you the tough questions and gave you opposition, you realize you would probably get very good at supporting your belief. You know what I mean? You would have to get pretty good at being able to support why you believe in what you believe in if you started off having to defend that belief in the first place. But what if everybody around you just, hey, yeah, you're so good and you're so wonderful, and people say, well, that helps me build my self-esteem. Okay, self-esteem. Self-esteem. How do you build my self-esteem? How can that happen? Unless my self-esteem is built on your support. And if my self-esteem is built on your support, is it now self-esteem? Or my need for your validation? Yeah, I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Is it really what I think of me, or what I want you to think of me?
Man, this gets deep.
Why are we so concerned? And you know what's interesting is, it's like you say, it's deep. The interesting thing is, this is actually the simplicity of listening to the words. Self-esteem. Esteem of myself, what I think of me. And most people don't really know what they think of what they're doing. But that's where the power is. The power in your life is when you know what you think of what you're doing enough to where you believe in it so much that even people's disagreement or disapproval wouldn't stop you from doing it. And that creates the persistence that it takes to win. But what if the people kept supporting? Man, nobody supports me. I asked everybody to come, nobody came. I support everything they do. Yeah, but why? Why do you support what they do? Well, because they're my friends. But I mean, does that mean you believe in what I'm doing? No. Do you even know exactly what I'm doing? Do you care to know? I don't know. Some people still think that, you know, it's just as a friend, it's more important for me to have you as my friend and you to show me the support than it is for you to be honest with me. You know how much honesty has to go out of the window? You ever thought about that? For me to always just, I'm going to support you. And I think that people, you know, friends will support each other. But should that support involve having to lie or let go of your own values to be involved in what they're doing? What do you think?
You know what I think? I'm looking like it shouldn't have to. But I think friends and family, like, I guess we expect, the expectation is that you owe me something because you're my friend or you're my family member. Or let's say if you have, let's say you do, like if it's two of us, two family members, and maybe you believe in this person's brand, and like you said, your belief system may not align with this other person's. Now it's, they don't, and I've been there too, so I'm just speaking from my personal experience. You're thinking it's because of they prefer this person over me, that's why they're supporting them, versus they have a good solid brand and I don't, or I'm just establishing myself and that this person has put in the groundwork. So it's not that they don't support me, is it may be that their belief system doesn't align with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Or I haven't did enough work yet for them to even see what I'm, because when I started, I know when I was doing it, I thought like, just support me even if I haven't shown you what to support. just support me because I'm who I am, not because of what I've done.
You know, do I have the right to like or dislike something?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, what if I just actually don't like what you're doing?
Do you feel like you should be honest with people? Like, I don't like what you're doing, or was that rude, or is that just honesty?
I think it's just honesty, but here's the thing. It can turn into having to be rude if somebody keeps pressing you instead of respecting you. Think about it. Okay, if I was doing something and you're not showing up, I always say this. People tell me, man, I really wanted to be there where you are. Man, I wanted to be there more than anything else. And I always say, you did not. You can't tell me how I feel. I'm not telling you how you feel. I'm telling you, you obviously did not want to be here more than anywhere else because you went somewhere else. Right?
I'm laughing because I know you and you've said this before and I just got quiet. I'm guilty. But Mr. Mike will call you out.
Well, how would I? And see, here's
but that's true though.
I wouldn't have to call you out if you let me have my opinion and didn't press me about, you did a show and I look, or if I go on, let's say on Facebook and you do something and I don't like it, I don't hit the like button. Do I have to hit the like every time I see you?
No.
And if I like it, am I liking you every time, or am I trying to say I like what you're doing? Like sometimes I post things and there are people who like or love it. Sometimes I post things, fewer people like or love it. And there are things that I may get one or two. It's interesting depending on what is being posted. But what if I press those people about not liking it? Then they might have to tell me they don't like it. But if I let them have their right to participate or not participate, then if I'm thin-skinned, I don't have to get my feelings hurt. Do you follow? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But see, you keep saying, You didn't come to my show. You didn't, and you keep pressing. Eventually, I have to say, hey, I didn't like it.
Yeah. Nikki Clutch said she still likes things on her friends' feeds, even if she thinks it's not a great business.
Okay. And ask her why. Because see, there are reasons, and there's nothing wrong with you liking it. The question is, what is your reason for liking it? Yeah. If she's willing to respond.
Okay. I know, like, sometimes I know, like, Facebook with the algorithm, if a person, she said she feels like she's supporting. Like, if she likes their post. Because sometimes, like, with Facebook and different social media outlets, your post can get boosted based on, let's say, Nikki Clutch, she has a business where she sells, prints and different types of prints and things like that. She has a printing company.
Mm-hmm.
So it may be that if I hit like, it may like show up on other people's feed. Like Facebook is kind of weird like that. Right. So just you hit like could kind of push them back into the algorithm. So sometimes I will like stuff just to, it helps the algorithm.
Right. So what you're saying is, I like their effort, which is okay. I don't necessarily like the content of this particular post, but I like your effort and I like the fact that you are doing something. See, all I'm saying to people is you need to know why you are liking, because if you're not careful, if you're just, I like some things that I don't necessarily like that particular post because I like the effort of the person in terms of support. Now, I'm not saying you should not ever support. That's the thing that's so interesting to me. People are really so polarized that it has to be all this way or all that way. Life is not that simple. There are depths. There are different depths to why you do things. You know what I mean? See, on one level, I will support your dream. I might not be supporting the particular thing you're doing right now. And what happens is we wind up not helping people get to what they really should get to because we're not honest with them. Like if I could say to you, like I have said to you, Shamika, I love your effort. But if you're going to do what you're doing in terms of being a public figure and podcast and presenting, do what you believe in. I don't like it if you come on and be disingenuous. If you're just trying to, let's go with the topic that I know people will like. That's not you.
And I would say to you, y'all. I tried it, man. Then I don't like it. I'm gonna tell them about it, Mr. Michael. So I hit Mr. and it was like an outrageous topic, and I forgot what it was, but it was real messy. Y'all know Mr. Michael. Y'all know what he said, right? He was like, "Why would you do that?" He was like, "The type of people you are going to attract are not people you're trying to attract. They're just going to be attracted to the drama versus the message that you're trying to put out." And guess what? I value his advice and feedback so much. I trashed it. The other person that I was supposed to do it with wanted to do it, but I was like, "No, we can't do that."
Yeah. See, you'll actually box yourself into some stuff you don't want to deal with. And I believe, and I'm telling you, it's been my experience from doing business consulting with the people I've helped in small business, it'll work. Not everybody is your customer. And if you're honest with yourself, you'll find the ones that are for you. There are some people who are Motel 6 all day long. And there's some people who are Four Seasons. You know? And you need to decide which one you're going to be. Sorry about that. You need to decide which one you're going to be. Because there is enough. Not everyone will like you. But the sooner you decide what you are about, the sooner you'll be able to tailor what you are doing to the group that is for you. And stop wasting time on those who are not. Think about, is it easier? What do you think would be easier? Find what you love and target the group that is your market, or to make the people around you believe in your market. You understand what I'm saying? And I watch people try it all the time. And that's why they get mad at the people who are not supporting them. I mean, how are you going to get into, I see people get into a financial business. How are you going to get into a financial business of investing when all the people around you have no money?
I'm sorry for laughing.
I mean, that's so there's no, and I don't, and what we wind up doing is we'll lose friends. I'm not telling you they are low or anything's wrong with them. But if you keep trying to make them want to do something where they are not, you're only going to create friction between you and them, because you're telling them your opinion is not valuable. I know what's important, but they're important too. So I have friends that want to talk about some of the things I don't want to talk about. I have some that want to talk about the things that I do want to talk about. And I respect them both. There's some people who don't want to do certain things. They don't want to grow beyond where they are. Not much. A good example of that for me is this. My mother is, I always said 39 years old. She's actually 89 years old. She's a very progressive 89-year-old person. I applaud her because she's still listening to and learning from me and making changes. That is interesting for a person that age, because most of the time they'll tell you, baby, this is who I am. And that's that on that. But even with that, there are certain things that I'm seeking to grow in that she's not going to do. She's not interested in building new homes. You know, she's not interested in a whole lot of others. She's settled. She's worked 62 years. She's not trying to start a business, but she is progressive in other ways in wanting to continue to be the best person she can be. You follow me? Well, what if I wanted her to support me? And, oh, I'm trying to build this and I won't, you got the money to do this. Can I respect her opinion and her right to say, no, I want to hold on to mine for the rest of my days? You know what I'm saying? And not be upset with her because she doesn't want to, and have to be angry and thinking to myself, she's just stupid. I don't think people think about how often they don't say that exactly. But a lot of your friends, when they don't support you, you're almost telling them they're stupid for what they think because they don't know what you know. I mean, and how rude is that? We're not, you're talking about the person being rude for not supporting you. But how rude is it to go to, and y'all know y'all do this, you go to your next friend and tell them, man, so-and-so, they don't want nothing. They don't want to do this. Okay, maybe they don't, but let them have that. Demonstrate it to them. Keep growing. Because if you demonstrate something, that's the best way to influence somebody to want to change, by living out yours. They will see what's valid in it if you make it work. So leave them alone. Love them too. Love them too. Love them enough to let them be who they are. And allow them to support you if they will. But I do understand what she's saying. Like, I would like things but I want to be very careful not to be too quick to like something, because I want it to be understood. If it's extremely against some value I have, I am not going to like it. I don't care who you are. Because I don't want you to get confused that I actually like that. Especially if I know, like you said, you kind of value my opinion a little bit, right?
A lot.
Okay. So I'm just saying, so if that's the case, I got to be mindful of that. I don't want to, too many people, I'm liking what you're doing, supporting what you're doing. And then when you get down the road and boom, you bump your head, that's when I come with well, I ain't like that back then. I just didn't want to tell you. Huh? Why did you let me spend all this money on this and all this time when you believed I should go another way anyway? You know how often people do that? I knew you shouldn't have been saying, you shouldn't have been doing that anyway. Well, why did you say that to me? Communicate both ways. Say, hey, I support you. I just don't support that particular effort. I want you to keep making effort. I just don't think you should do it that way. Is that not what I've done?
Oh yeah. That my interviews, y'all, my interviews have drastically changed. If you go back to like my previous interviews, you'll hear me, yes, just affirming. And now I actually, I listen to a person's whole thought because that's something Mr. Michael said I was doing. And I didn't even know that I was doing it. And everybody else, like not everybody else, but a lot of people, man, you so good. But a lot of people were not telling me what I needed to hear to get to my next level as far as my interviewing. Maybe they didn't notice, but when he told me that one thing, it changed how I interview. And not only did it change how I interview, it also allowed me to listen to what they were saying and come up with another question instead of because I would pre-write questions. Mm-hmm. But when you're listening with intent, it allows you to feed off what your guest is saying and then come up with questions as you go. Right. So it's helped, like people challenging me. Even my trainer, Tawana, she was like, with some shows, she was like, foggy cameras. Some shows, like I have in the gym, I do that in person. So the criticism has helped me grow, but I think a lot of us don't want criticism. We just want everybody to just tell us how amazing we are and how great we're doing.
Yeah. And then if they're saying it and it's not honest, and I'll say it this way, I obviously I'm not that great because I'm not where I want to be yet. So that's how I take it. I don't put it on anyone else. I am going to deal with me, even if you say it's so great, it's obviously not as great as I need it to be because I'm not there. I mean, that would be like telling LeBron James or telling the Grizzlies that, hey, man, y'all are fantastic in this series. They would say, listen, we played one good game last night and we're closer, but we've got to come with an even better game tomorrow or whatever, because we're not playing to get you excited about a game. We want to win the series. And then once they win the series, yes, we can have a slight celebration, but don't start telling us how fantastic we are because we want a championship. And if you keep depending on that validation, you won't really look at yourself in the areas you need to work on. It's so much when people just don't want. I know so many talented people, if they could simply learn honesty and develop a strength of character that would allow them to receive critique. I don't even like to call it criticism. Even if the critique is not what you like. I'm not saying everything I'm saying that I say to you is actually for you. As a matter of fact, you look at what I'm saying and judge for yourself. If you judge that I hear what he's saying, but this is the way I want to keep going, then use it as motivation to show me that I don't know what I'm talking about. And if you can, I would be excited. I have no problem with being proven wrong. I don't mind being proven wrong because I want the person to win. If me being proven wrong means you winning, I'm good with that. But I've got to give you my honest opinion. And we have to mature. I think it's why we can't often, talented people aren't able to work together a lot of times because of those old things we've been taught about how you should be supported and how you disrespected me, or you didn't have to say it like that. And, oh, wow. Let's just have the whole conversation. Get over the, we lose sight of the main point, getting caught up in some of the minor stuff that we want to be offended about. We have to develop thicker skin and realize that somebody doesn't necessarily not love us just because they don't like something we do. There was an old book I thought about called The Sacred Cows Are Dying, a guy named Art Greer. I don't even know if it's still in production, or if you could probably find it on the internet. It's a very simple book, but it talks about people following traditions that do not help them. And there's a one chapter in there called Love Me, Love My Dog. They was talking about two neighbors, and the guy was saying, I love my neighbor, but I have issues, physical issues with dogs. But my neighbor loves dogs. So the neighbor took offense to him not wanting the dog to come over. He loved his neighbor, but the neighbor basically took the stance that if you don't love animals, then you don't like me. I've lost you. I don't know if I lost my connection or what. What happened?
Yeah, I had to step away for a moment. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. All right, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't me.
Yeah, you were saying he loved his neighbor, but he doesn't love dogs.
He had an issue with the dog. It was some kind of maybe an allergy or something. But sometimes people will take the stance because they don't discuss. Why can't we just talk about the part of it? Why do we have to conclude that you don't support me? Why? Because I don't like everything you do? Man, and imagine a marriage. And I think that's why so many people have trouble with relationships. They have unrealistic expectations. Two people coming up two totally different ways. Often I hear people say, everybody knows this. No, everybody doesn't. They don't. And then when I say that, they'll say, well, where they do that at? Obviously somewhere. We didn't come up the same. Mm-hmm. So why don't we just discuss the differences we have? I believe that loving someone gives you the ability to take the time. In other words, we may be very different, but I want to understand you. But see, often people say, well, you think two people we can get along, we can make it work. I think any two people almost can make a relationship work. The question is, are they willing to do whatever it takes to hear each other and gain an understanding? And that's the work. It takes love to really try to gain an understanding rather than just be offended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us are just, I don't know, like being offended. I think some things are learned behaviors, and maybe we're taught that if this person doesn't do this, then they don't care. Or
Mm-hmm.
even like cutoff season, I'm cutting people out because people don't support me. Like when I was crying about support, I hadn't even did enough to gain support. Like I had barely, all I was doing was writing positive statuses on Facebook. And I thought I really wasn't doing anything to really get supported on. I just wanted to feel good about the minimal effort I was putting in. But like you said, when you really operate in your purpose, it's a lot. Like sometimes I'm like, man, I don't feel like doing this. Like we actually did an episode, and I actually had Justin J. Pearson on the show. And I'm super grateful that but I remember that day was early on a Saturday morning, setting up, not getting paid, having to go home and edit, and then upload. Like it's a lot of like groundwork. I don't think a lot of people understand like the groundwork stage it's a lot of work. And people can praise you, but sometimes praise is a distraction. And you don't want to stay where you are because of people clapping.
Uh-huh. And oh my goodness. It takes a level of toughness that allows us to stop being victims. And I don't know if people understand, you must learn. I believe that if people are going to get anywhere, they must first learn to stop looking for a reason to be offended by people. Please let people have their opinions. I believe that you have the right to have whatever opinion you would like to have about me today. Or at the end of this video, write whatever comment you would like to write. I don't think you should. I mean, whether you like it, didn't like me, thought what I said was ridiculous, I think you should be able to say that. And because I can allow you to say that, I don't get bent out of shape by it. Not everybody is to agree with me. I keep telling people, if you read the Bible, they say when Jesus spoke, the crowd was divided. Some say he's a good man. Some say no, but he's deceiving the people. Every time there was a divide. Love people enough to say, hey, I respect your opinion. And then if we can continue to have a dialogue, we can kind of convince each other. But I believe it was a setup. I believe, honestly, it's almost like, man, who set us up to make us believe that people are automatically just supposed to support us on a certain level? Because just because somebody you think they didn't support you, what is it that you just made you decide they don't support you? The fact that they didn't watch every one of your podcasts? The fact they didn't like what you wore or didn't applaud as loudly as they should? You think about this, the children, the parents nowadays who have very talented children, the ones who became child stars or got into the music business very young. Do you think their parents applaud everything they do? Sometimes they have to simply applaud their effort, and sometimes they have to stand back and say, you didn't give your best effort today. Is that part not support too? See how quickly, we just get all messed up over nothing. Does support have to come in the form of, I like it? Can it not sometimes be, I think you need to do that a little different. I didn't like that one. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that challenges you to grow. Like, I think I don't know. I think a lot of us don't like corrective criticism.
We're looking for someone else to make us feel valid. which means we have low self-esteem. So much so that when we see genuine high self-esteem, we almost always call it arrogance. Almost always call it arrogance when it's sometimes simply high self-esteem. I think a lot of me, just saying that sounds crazy because, I mean, I know it's valid to say, but growing up, to be able to say, I think a lot of myself. People say it on one hand, but if you say it too much or in the wrong setting, somebody would say, oh, you're so arrogant. If you behaved it or acted it out, or if someone told you when you dress nice, oh, you look so nice today, and you say, I know, thank you. You know. I always say, okay, when you left the house, did you check yourself in the mirror yet? Yeah. Okay. So obviously you looked at this outfit. You put it together, you put it on. What were you thinking when you put it on? I'm going to be sharp.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But if I ask you and you said, I know, I believe I'm sharp. Now you're arrogant because you said what you actually believed. Yeah, but you're not supposed to say it though. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Let's leave it at that. So we can't be honest. See all these rules we have? That's just getting in the way of people being the best they can be. Understand that not everybody needs to like you to like you. There are some people who really respect you. They just don't like what you said. So anyway, did anybody else have any other comments?
We have some nice comments. Next time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ensure that, because with StreamYard makes it where only friends can see it. Okay. So next time I'm going to make it public, probably towards the beginning of the live, and I'll have to go through Facebook to do so. Okay. But we're coming back at you guys. We're going to be doing this twice a month. Mm-hmm. Are we sticking to Thursdays at 7? Or are we going to change it?
Right now, yes.
Okay, so we'll be doing, as of this moment, we'll be doing 2 days out of the month. We'll be challenging people's perspectives on different topics, and it's designed to help us really grow and really challenge how we think so that we can propel ourselves forward. Absolutely. But thank you guys for watching. We'll come at you. When are we coming back? In a week? Next week or the week after? Week after.
And if they have some ideas, if there's some way to get them to us, I know I'm on Facebook, Messenger or whatever. If you got some ideas of some things that you may think, let us know.
And I'll tag you in the video too, Mr. Michael.
Huh?
I'll tag you in the video as well. That way. Okay. They'll have access to reach out and ask questions as well.
Yeah, because we want to know what people would like to talk about. Controversial, whether you like it or don't like it. That's the whole point. Say what you need to say. And we need to learn to love each other enough to at least begin to tolerate each other's differences. You don't have to be like me. That's what's beautiful. And that's why we can help each other. That's one reason I wanted to do the podcast with you, because I am more of a, you're more tender-hearted.
I am.
I'll put it this way. I am much more tender-hearted than people think. I'm just very rational in understanding that that's not where the progress comes from. So I like to have an opinion like yours so that we can have the other perspective.
And y'all, if I can't be harsh, like Ms. Mike said, you send them to me. Yeah. So I'm gonna be tagging him in the video.
If I can't be harsh, I am not harsh. I am.
Hey, you're really honest, but
Yeah.
people, bro, it's like, oh my God. But
And I don't mind you being honest with me. So,
yeah.
you know, you can't put it out there. Some people like to do it because I don't do it to be harsh. That's why I can take it, because I say it in love and I'll receive it the same way.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Hold tight. I'm about to end this live. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
All right, y'all.